Hi greedy 3Ders, in my last video you'd have seen me reviewing some of this Elegoo resin, and you would have also seen in the video before me saying how wonderful this HeyGears Ultracraft Reflex is. Well, somebody asked me, can you use Elegoo resin in this printer? And the noise you can hear, and I'm sorry about that, is that printer printing some of this, and boy is it doing it well. Stay tuned. The wonderful folks at Elegoo have sent me a whole host of resins to play with and test for you, which I did in my last video. Today, we're going to be going back to their standard photopolymer resin, and we're going to be using it in the HeyGears Ultracraft Reflex. You know that this printer should only be able to use its proprietary resins, yes? Yes? Oh no, we're going to be using some Elegoo in it. Now, to use a standard resin in it that's not their own, and we don't want to use their bottle, I don't want to filter it all over, we need to go into the settings and turn the automatic resin fill off. We also need to close the manual sluice, and when you do that, it closes the sluice little gate there, and we can just use this printer as a normal printer. No worries about the bottles, no worries about it topping itself up. Just take your standard Elegoo resin and tip it into the vat. Now the vat will hold around about 750 mils, so it's quite a big old vat. Now just be careful when you're doing it manually, you don't overfill it, so there is the maximum fill line there. Make sure you don't go past that point. Now I'm going into their blueprint slicer, and I'm going to tell it to do a new slice. I'm going to choose the printer. I'm going to tell it to use the regular resin tank because I haven't got anything else. I'm going to select miniatures, and I'm going to go down and select their PAP 10 resin and also the 0.05mm, and then I'm going to tell it that's all the settings it needs to know. No other fiddling around, no other playing, and just confirm those. And once you've confirmed everything, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a test print, and I'm going to print the Photon XP test. This is my standard go-to test when I want to check the resin and see how it works and look also exposure times, etc. Now I don't need to touch anything in here, absolutely nothing. I'm just going to slice it. I'm going to call it something so I know what it is when it hits the printer. I'm going to call it something along the lines of, or what we're going to call it, frozen Elegoo test, something like that. And I'm going to then slice it. Now the thing I like about the Ultracraft Reflex is you don't have to worry about exposure settings, lift distances, etc, etc. It does all that for you. It will do it for its proprietary resins, but I'm using Elegoo, so I'm going to tell it to use its PAP 10, which will kid it into thinking it's using its own resins when it's using Elegoo. Let's see if it works. We're going to send it across to the printer wirelessly, and over it goes through the ether of space, and when it lands in the printer, when I got back to the printer, there it was. It's ready to go. I'm just going to click print. Now the HeyGears will do a few little bits in the background. It will tell me that there's no cartridge installed. That's absolutely fine. Just ignore that and continue, and it will carry on doing its thing. It will warm the resin, it will mix the resin, and it will print that resin. Now I'm going to be using this detergent to clean it. You may have seen this in the last video that I made, and if not, go and check it out. This stuff is absolutely incredible. What a brilliant find. Check out the review, and if you want to buy some, there'll be links in the description. 15-20 minutes later, the HeyGears has done its thing. I'm going to take out the build plate, and voila, there is the test frozen piece that I wanted. And I can see from here, without the need to look any closer, what a beautiful, beautiful print. I'm cleaning it in the Elegoo detergent. It's just gorgeous. I am in love with this little sample. Let's cure it anyway. Let's come back to the real world. Cure it in the HeyGears curing station, and there it is. You can see that is without doubt, that's the best exposure test I have ever done, and I have fiddled with it not at all. Not changed settings, not changed lift distances, not changed this, not changed that. Just printed it, and it's printed beautifully using the PAP 10 setting. So let's give it a bit more of a challenge. Let's go to the Wicked site and download this Spider-Man bust here. Now I'm going to show you me getting it into the slicer of the HeyGears as well, because that is a feast to be decided. It's beautiful. Pop it into your slicer and click one, click slice. That's all you needed to do. Now I have hollowed this out and put some holes in, but you don't really need to. The slicer will then do everything else for you. It'll support it, it'll move it, it'll put it on the build plate for you, it'll orientate it, and it'll slice it. And that's it. One touch slicing is the way forward. And I'm going to send this over to the printer now to print this, and I cannot wait to see if this has the same quality as the frozen test. First print's finished. There's the second print, the base just lining up for when it's ready to get into that build plate. And there he is. He's all printed, old Spidey, looking very, very nice. Let's get all that resin off him and have a bit of a look. Now he's come off the build plate from the supports, absolutely wonderful. In my last video I talked about these supports from the HeyGears blueprint slicer. They're just wonderful. I'm not going to harp on about things I've spoken about previously, just check out my last video, but I can tell you the supports on this system are the best I have ever used, and the quality of this is looking very nice. The other sign I think of a good resin and a good printer is getting the supports off. Just look at that, it's like butter. They've held on through the whole process wonderfully, and they just fall off when you want them to. Giving it a clean in the Elegoo detergent again, and here he is, the final product. Everything is printed wonderfully. The quality of the exposure has been absolutely flawless, I believe. And there's the model from Wicked. I'll put a link in the description where you can get this from, but it's just beautiful. I've tried to pick this model because there's lots of little details in the costume, but it could have been any model really. I don't think it would have let me down at all. Let's have a little bit of a closer look at it. What I'm going to do is pop on a macro microscope and look at some of the closer bits. Look at the detail in that little Spider-Man mask. I don't really think you get an idea how small that is, so I'll come back to that in a minute. But just looking at the close-ups, it's smooth, the detail is in there, and each little blemish and little mark on his uniform, his eyes there, that is the tip of a ballpoint pen, just to give you the scale. It's printed wonderfully. So I think you'll agree with me, well at least I hope you agree with me, that the reason I said that the HeyGears is the best resin 3D printer in 2024, I think I've just proved the point again. Using a non-standard resin in that HeyGears has produced a beautiful, beautiful print. Now we hear some of you out there saying that you wouldn't buy this system because of their closed environment, but I think guys, if I'm honest with you, it's your opinion of course, but I think we have got to try and look past that and look at what we are getting. We are getting a state-of-the-art printer that can use resins such as the Elegoo Standard that you've just seen me there. You know, also it can use Sunlu, it can use Jam J, it can use Jam J High Gloss. So it can use the resins that you are using every day to produce these incredible prints. A testament to the printer and also a testament to the resins. But this printer is making magic. It is the best print I've ever done, the best quality I've ever done. And I don't say that lightly or just for effect. It is the best quality print I've ever done. Hope you found that useful. I'll be really interested to see what you guys think. Have you used this print? Have you used different resins with it? What resins have you used? What settings have you used to get it to produce? I think the community, wider community especially, would be very interested to hear that. If you like what you see today, please subscribe to the channel. It's quick, it's free, it's easy. It's a little click down here and it's done. If you want to join the Greedy 3D Patreon, you'd be more than welcome. You can join it from as little as free. Just get on board. If you want to donate a few quid every month, that really is appreciated and helps me carry on doing these videos for you guys. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you found it interesting and useful and informative, and maybe it's changed your mind about the HeyGears Ultracraft Resin. Maybe it's changed your mind about Elegoo Resin, but let's see what you think. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you real soon for more playing in the 3D world on Greedy 3D.